Dear songwriter, welcome to the show. I do not know what episode number this is, but I've been going since April. It is now almost end of August. I guess technically end of August, which is terrifying. Really grateful to all of you who continue to listen, whether you've reached out to me on social media to tell me about it, whether through email. Really do appreciate all of it, and it's been a really cool journey. Today, going to really dive into songwriting specifically, more so than mindset or goal setting, anything like that. Just really going to talk strictly about a couple songwriting exercises. Before I do that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Connor Frost. I am a songwriter, I'm a musician, and I'm a professional mentor who helps songwriters such as yourselves to write and release their first album or single so they can effectively start their artist journeys. And this episode is inspired by the fact that I recently decided to reread or start rereading Pat Pattison's book, Writing Better Lyrics. I read it, I guess maybe a year or 2 years ago. I think I read it sometime during the pandemic. And it's a really great book that breaks down the elements of songwriting, specifically lyric writing, very well. And so for me, I'm one of those people who needs to read something 2 or 3 times before it really internalizes. And so I recently decided to reread this book. It's also a book I'm considering as making a part of one of my courses that I offer for beginner songwriters. And so wanted to take a deep dive back in. And along the way, wanted to share what I'm learning so that perhaps it can be the same for you. If you don't feel like reading the book, I can basically pick parts of it for you to consume and to try out yourself. And some of these exercises, I kind of made them my own a little bit. There's some that are also really involved and really dense. And I think just naturally with my own songwriting process, I've simplified them for myself. So there is a little bit of taking some of this and being inspired by it, but not necessarily following it to a T. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to share 2 exercises today. I'm going to share 2 exercises today, and in the future, we'll likely share more. So the first exercise is to create 2 lists. So we're going to call this exercise creating noun lists. Okay, so we're going to focus on nouns for this exercise. And basically, taking 2 lists, creating 2 lists to start, maybe you pick anywhere between 4 to 7 words, random nouns that you see around the house, random objects, people, places, things that you see around the house in whatever kind of vicinity that you're in, right? And so I did this exercise the other day when I was staying in Plattsburgh, New York on Lake Champlain, and I was sitting out on the porch. I was sitting out on the deck. And so I came up with 2 lists, and I'm just going to walk you through my process to describe this exercise to you. So the first list I created, I looked around and I created this list: deck, chair, lake, and cup. Okay, I'm going to repeat that one more time. So this was my first noun list: deck, chair, lake, and cup. The other noun list that I created: girl, house, tree, car. Okay, so to repeat that second noun list: girl, house, tree, car. So that's the first step, is to create these 2 different noun lists based on whatever. Can be totally random objects that you see around your house, etc. So from there, the next step is to create sentences that include these words, and specifically perhaps a word from group 1, noun list group 1, and noun list 2. So here are the sentences I came up with. So the first sentence was, the girl on the deck looks over the lake. The girl on the deck looks over the lake. Okay, so deck was in my first noun list, lake was in my first noun list, and girl was in my second noun list. So created a little bit of a combination there. Here's the second sentence I came up with. The chair on the deck sits a girl from the house. So took same idea, just kind of like reworded it in an attempt to perhaps make it more poetic. And then the third sentence was, in a treehouse she sits like the chair on her deck. So again, no idea where these are going to go, but this is an exercise, especially if you're feeling that writer's block as it relates to lyrics specifically. This could be something that you try out. All right, so it's really just 2 steps: create 2 noun lists and then create sentences from those lists. Okay, so that's exercise number 1 that I came across in the book. And like I said, I kind of made it my own a little bit, but for all intents and purposes, that is the exercise. So here's the second exercise, and I actually posted about this on a recent Instagram reel. When you're listening to this, you can check out my Instagram. It's probably from today, which is August 20th, so you can check it out. This exercise is similar idea, I guess, similar in nature, but it's slightly different in that we're getting a little bit more specific. So we're going to call this, and I think Pat Pattison calls it in the book, something along the lines of lyric writing in certain keys. It's something like that. I'm probably butchering it, but the idea is that the same way we write melodies in certain keys, we can write lyrics in certain keys, right? So for the sake of this podcast, we're going to call this writing lyrics in the same key. Okay, writing lyrics in the same key. So this is exercise number 2 that I'm sharing with you. So the first thing you do is pick a noun once again. For example, tree. Okay, there's your noun, tree. Second step is to then pick words that are related to tree. So in the same family. So as an example, maybe there's branch, leaf, green. Okay, so you pick 3 words, branch, leaf, green. Once you have those words with the main conceptual word, which is tree, once you have those list of words, then try to create 4 lines, try to write 4 lines based on those words. You can use metaphors, you can use similes, you can just free write, whatever kind of comes to you. The idea is a lot of times I'll hear from people that they're having trouble staying focused with their lyrics. And so I think an exercise like this, it allows you to create metaphors and create similes a little bit more easily, but it also allows you to have this focus as it relates to your imagery, right? So if tree is the general concept and you're picking words that don't stray too far from tree, then you still have a bit of a focus as it relates to describing whatever it is you're looking to describe based on the imagery that you are looking to use in your description. So I think this could be a good way to just maintain focus lyrically, which is a common thing that I hear from people. So those are the 2 exercises. We have the noun list exercise, and then we have writing in keys as it relates to lyrics. Once again, these exercises were inspired by Pat Pattison's book, Writing Better Lyrics. I'm reading it for the second time, trying to make some of these exercises my own, trying to replicate them exactly, use them exactly with my students. So hopefully this brought you some value today. If you're interested in speaking with me and my team directly, I urge you to go to connorfrost.com, CONNOR Frost, FROST.com/juststart, JUSTSTART. We will get on a call with you. We will set some goals. We will assess your struggles. And if it feels like a good fit, I'll tell you about my fairly new program to help you turn those ideas that you have, turn them into completed, finished songs so you can release your first album or single and effectively start your artist journey. So if you're interested in that, please do check that out. Thanks again. I will talk to you next week.